What's up? Got back from Mount Washington Presidential Range, safe and sound. As you can see in the last video, if you haven't seen yet, please watch that video, give it a big thumbs up, and subscribe. Right now for more adventures, but first, after my adventure last weekend, I had to reevaluate what I felt like was the most important thing to bring with me on a hike, a strenuous hike. Any hike really, but more of a strenuous hike where I'm going to be hiking for, like Saturday, we hiked for 12 and a half hours straight. So taking breaks here and there, but we wouldn't have been able to do it without this certain thing. So first I'll go through what you might think I would choose as the best thing to put in my day pack. And I'm sure that most people would first say water. Now, obviously, I'm going to agree that water is an excellent, and pretty much if you don't have anything but water, you'll be okay. It'll suck, but you'll be okay. So, yes, obviously, bringing water. Now, can you survive if you don't bring water with you? In my experience, hiking in the White Mountains in New Hampshire, the Green Mountains in Vermont, forget what the mountain ranges are called in Maine, but Mount Katahdin in Maine. Water is plentiful around here. We have lakes and streams and rivers, and some of the biggest rivers in the country start here in these mountains. So there's pretty much always water somewhere if you know where to look. So although it can be contaminant, there are ways around that, and I just believe that if you don't have water, if you run out of water, which I have, and I have experience in that, you'll be okay somehow. We once got water from a natural pool formed by precipitation clouds on the summit of Jefferson at over 5,000 feet, and that water tasted perfect. So, and we didn't get sick, and it was great, and it pretty much saved maybe not saved our life, but saved our trip. So, water, definitely a good thing. Not the most important to me. If you were close to me and you know me, the next two things you would understand why you would think that I would think these things. So first is extra socks. Extremely important to bring with you when you go out hiking anywhere, especially from what I just told you. There's so much water around here, anything can happen. Rocks are slippery, you slip, go into the water. It's always a good idea to have fresh socks because hiking in wet socks and wet conditions, especially don't use cotton ones, use a wool or poly mixture. Socks are important. So I'll always bring socks with me. Still not the most important. You can dry out the socks that you have. You could, run without them for a minute. You'll get blisters, but at least you'll be able to keep moving. Another thing you'd think that I would bring with me everywhere I go is a map. I have to admit that sometimes I don't. I always try to at least take a picture with my cell phone of the trailhead map or something off of line and bring that with me so that I know where we are. We can focus on certain peaks and the topo of our surrounding area, so we know what we're up against and where we're headed and how far to another trail junction, things like that. Definitely a map is always a good thing to have and something I'll always bring with me. You might think it's a form of making fire. Nothing is a bigger motivator than a fire. So if something were to happen and you had to spend the night out in the woods, I'll tell you what, a fire will make it a lot less scary. It'll make it a lot less depressing. The warmth of the fire, being able to cook something if you have it, a lighter is always definitely a good thing to have. Still not the most important though, to me. the most important thing, after doing this last trip that we did, I said, man, I took a lot of food breaks. I was hungry all the time. So we got up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I had my Rome oatmeal. It's very high in calorie, very high in carbs. There's 40 grams of carbs in here, 300 calories, 10 grams of protein. That's like a half of a sit-down meal. So that's something decent to have. We have coffee and Rome oatmeal. I swear to God, 2 hours later into this climb, I'm hungry again. It's from constant work, carrying a 35-pound pack up, straight up 2,000 feet is tough work for anybody, especially a little guy. So by, the summit of the first peak that we climbed, my legs were shaking and I was ready to eat. So some of the things that I bring with me all of the things I bring with me basically are high in carb. I firmly believe in the Fiber One bars. They're good for you. I feel like in some instance, yeah, they have some sugars in them, but let's get it straight. We're going straight uphill using every muscle in our body, from our traps to our calves, to our Achilles heel. All these elements are being brought in and our body is just working way harder than it normally does. So it's burning up everything it has inside it. So another thing I love to bring is these Vermont Smoking Cures beef jerky. Some of you guys may be vegan or vegetarian, and I believe they have sticks that are vegetarian as well, but for me, I'll choose either the beef and pork, or the turkey is good as well, and they're a little higher in fats. This bar has 80 calories and 6 grams of protein. It's got no sugar in it, but you're getting good fats, and those are good calories, and firmly believe in some of that. Also, the protein synthesis that's going on in your lower half of your body while you're climbing straight up a pile of rocks is incredible. So I will bring all these. Also, trail mix. My preferred form of trail mix is, again, something a little more sugary. This is like a mountain mix. I put it in a clear bag so you can see. I have M&Ms, peanuts, sunflower seeds, raisins, and those are the things that I like. I don't necessarily like almonds. Some people are allergic to almonds. So this was a good remedy to have all the sugars that I needed, some protein that I needed, and also it fills you up. This is a lot of calories right here. I don't know how much this is. This is probably 2 cups. So I'm going to guess at like 350 to 400 calories in this package of peanuts here. So usually, always, I have my little survival kit that I'll always bring with me. I have a fire starter, some fuel, a compass, a headlamp, chapstick, and granola bars. Always some form of carb, some sort of pick-me-up. I always say everything tastes better on the side of a mountain. You could have these old granola bars that have been in your pack for the full born-on date on these things, and they will taste delicious if you're lost and starving. So bring all this stuff with you. Head out on the trail. I got my EMS day pack that I've had for years. That's the problem. I feel bad for these companies that make such great products like EMS, North Face, Black Diamond, companies of that nature that make such great products, because I got my pack, this day pack, 14 years ago, and I love it. I don't even want to buy a new one. So I'm a repeat customer in other aspects, but once you have one of their products, you have it forever. So all that stuff's into my day pack, and we'll see you on the trail. Remember to take the hard way. Subscribe, like, comment. We'll see you next time.